What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Ryan here with the DFS 5-Pack. So I hope your Saturday's off to a great start and your weekend is going phenomenally so far. Click that thumbs up button. We're going to ride solo this week for Week 3 main slate of the NFL. I can't believe it's Week 3 already. We got a whole bunch of stuff that's kind of still up in the air about how this season is going to progress. But we're starting to get a little bit more information that we can deal with on our daily fantasy sports stuff. So Week 3 is here. Let's jump right in, and hopefully everybody has much success this week. And it started with the Thursday Showdown. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into this one. I am going to say for the next, probably about 22 hours prior to kickoff on Sunday, $25 rebate available to anybody who signs up for the season-long NFL package. That is all done through the website below. So that would be a 20% discount. It gets you everything throughout the rest of the playoffs, all the breakdowns and all the videos where we go through all the players and everything like that. It is available. Otherwise, monthly, annual, weekly customers, you guys get both sports as they are viable. Thumbs up if you can. Let's talk about the quarterback position. So there's a handful of quarterbacks in play this week. One guy that I wanted to feature is Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. So he is currently projected to be the number 2 highest owned quarterback of the week. I think we are going to get a few quarterbacks with some love. So use them in cash games, use them in GPPs, use them where you find it to be appropriate. So he's under 6K, which is great from a price tag standpoint. Allows us to get some higher end players in other positions. I know the knock on this guy for the first couple of years of his career has been the high turnovers, but over the last 8 games, he has cleaned that stuff up. If you want to go back to the last 6 games of last year, the 2 so far this year, he is hardly turning the ball over anymore. He's got big-time rushing yard upside. He's got rushing touchdowns in each of the first 2 games. We've seen this guy break off long runs on the regular lately. Sometimes he doesn't fall, which is going to be a lot of fun as well. We got a home game today or tomorrow against a really bad Atlanta defense. He's got pretty good weapons around him with Shepard. I believe we're going to get Ingram coming back this week. We got Slayton. Hopefully he doesn't drop a ball in the end zone like he did last week. But all in all, not great weapons. This isn't the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he does have decent weapons now. So there's a lot of things around him. Great matchup, good price tag. I like Daniel Jones a lot for any format this coming Sunday. Next up, let's talk about a GPP running back. So this is one of Matt's choices this week, which is James White. But James White has been quietly consistent to start the year. And one of the things you have to like about him, Mac Jones plays the quarterback position a lot more like Tom Brady, which means lots of dump offs to the running backs. We've seen James White with 6 receptions per game through the first 2 weeks. What I like about this one is White is currently projected for about 1% ownership. With CEH or Clyde Edwards-Helaire of the Kansas City Chiefs coming in with significantly more ownership at basically the same price, what you're looking for with this kind of pivot is for him to outscore Edwards-Helaire. Now, on paper, I get the Edwards-Helaire play, but I just don't know how good that guy is. So if you're looking to get a little different in the GPP realm of things, why couldn't James White, who has been more consistent to start the season, outscore Clyde Edwards-Helaire tomorrow? I don't think there's any reason that wouldn't be a very logical pivot. Now, maybe outscores him by 4 or 5 points, and it may not seem like a big deal. But when you're playing GPPs, guys, how many times have you had a lineup where 4 or 5 points would have made a huge difference? Next up, let's go back to cash games, but basically just any contest you want to play him in. Let's talk about Matthew Berry's Little Cooper Cup. So this is one of the games of the week, if not the game of the week, Tampa Bay against the Rams. Couple of really, really good football teams right here. And Cooper Kupp has been nothing short of sensational to start the season. Huge game changer last week. If you didn't play him, you weren't winning. He is going to be a top 3 owned player this week, if not the number 1 chalkier player on the slate. He has obvious chemistry with Matt Stafford. This could easily be the last week that he's under 7K. You can't run on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which means not only is the passing game going to get utilized, but the short slot patterns that Cooper Kupp runs as an extension of the running game, he is clearly going to be a feature point of this game. Now, they might try to bracket coverage him, but they're going to have no options but to continue to try to feed him in this game. He's going to be big-time chalk. He looks unstoppable to start the year. If you're playing cash games this week, he's probably one of the top guys, if not the top guy that you want to lock in. Next up, let's make a pivot over to another guy. So the thing with Ronald Moore, who was, and I want to give a shout out to, I cannot remember if you are currently a customer or a former customer, but Mr. Bowden, who won $1 million last week on FanDuel. That is a big win, man. I'm very, very happy for you, as well as insanely jealous. Congrats on the big win. But the Rondell Moore to Kyler Murray stack went off for him last week, and Moore was a beast. Great matchup this week with a Jacksonville team that can't stop anybody. They are terrible. Arizona will score on Sunday. If Jacksonville can find a way to put a couple of scores in the end zone themselves, Arizona might top 35 points tomorrow. Lots of points to go around. If DeAndre Hopkins plays, he is currently listed as questionable, then Rondell Moore won't get a ton of love at this price tag. However, if DeAndre Hopkins sits, which is possible, on a normal game, I think Hopkins plays. But knowing that they have one of the worst teams in the league as their opponent, they may opt to take the cautious approach on Sunday, which will turn Rondell Moore and maybe Christian Kirk as well into very chalkier plays. So how you evaluate him might have a lot to do with the availability of DeAndre Hopkins, but he is in play no matter what. He's got 11 catches on 13 targets to start the year. Just know that his popularity will probably go up or down a little bit depending on the availability of DeAndre Hopkins. Last up, this week's cover boy, Mark Andrews. So I think he makes for an interesting discussion point. In this game, there is a much chalkier tight end on the other side of the ball for the Detroit Lions. However, Andrews could end up being a very, very good play this week. So if you watch Monday Night Football, my Packers took on the Detroit Lions. You saw Bob Tonyan with a nice week. And a big part of that was Detroit chose to sit back and cover 2 all game, essentially. And that is why the middle of the field was open. Now, they might change their defensive philosophy this week because Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, let's face it, 2 drastically different quarterbacks and how they get things done. Both very fantasy relevant guys, both very good quarterbacks, but their games are obviously different, especially with Rodgers being older and not being nearly as mobile as he once was. This leaves the middle of the field wide open. Now, they may opt to not sit in cover 2 this week. That is a distinct possibility. Lamar Jackson, as I just said, plays the game significantly differently. However, they may still sit back and cover 2. Maybe like a cover 2 zone so that they can have eyes on the quarterback, knowing that their cornerbacks are beat up and very, very weak. They may not have a lot of options on the defensive end of things, which would once again open up the middle of the field for the tight end position. Mark Andrews is very affordable at $5K, has not done a ton to start the season. Jackson has run the ball a ton. They played a couple of good opponents. I think Andrews could eat this Sunday. I think he could clearly outscore the tight end on the other side of the ball. You can run him in GPPs. You can run them together. You can run him instead if you just think he has a better day. But I think at $5K, trying to get Mark Andrews a score, you like to get your big dogs to eat early in the season, get their confidence rolling. Getting Mark Andrews in the end zone this week would be big for the Baltimore Ravens. So at $5K, I think he's in play no matter what. But I think he's an interesting pivot off the chalkier Hockenson in this game. That's what we got for week 3, guys. Hopefully everybody has a good game this week and a good DFS score. Go win some money, guys, and we will see you soon. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.